Hello and welcome to the Authority of Love, another Family Foundation Friday with our good co-host David Walls of the Family Foundation. I'm your host Greg Williams, and we're glad that you've joined us. David, thanks for joining us, brother.
It's good to be back with you.
Yeah. Now, we say this all the time, but especially this week, our vision at Love and Lordship, which is the ministry that over the Authority of Love, is that every life and relationship be built on the love and lordship of Jesus Christ. And we say that this week in particular because of what we celebrate in Passion Week, Good Friday, and Resurrection Sunday.
Yep, it's most important time and ultimately celebration, Resurrection Sunday. So incredibly, it's been a beautiful week here in the Commonwealth to remind us that spring is here, and what looking forward to with my family, as I know you are with yours, celebrating the death, burial, and resurrection of our Lord and Savior.
That's exactly right, and that's what we're talking about, and we hope and pray that even when we disagree, and we're going to talk about some things today, that we do it from a spirit of grace and mercy and love, but we do not compromise that truth so that others can hear it.
Yeah.
They may not like us, they may not agree with us, but we have to be faithful to that because we know that He was. David, a couple things before we jump into that. We want to continue praying for those. A beautiful week this week, but a week or so, 2 weeks ago, it was horrific, and there's still people that are digging out from the flood and the storms and loss of property, but even more, a few lives that were lost. And so we want to pray for them. And I know you had a special but a tough week last week.
Yeah, no, my grandmother went to be with the Lord, and while we always sad to have someone that you know pass from this world. We're thankful once again in light of this week that we have a hope of where those who have died but know Christ are. And so it was a good time to get together with family last week and remember my Nana, but also just have a time to fellowship with some family that I don't always get to see. So it was a good week.
Yeah, and you said it well. I said the same thing when my dad passed last month. We grieve.
Yeah.
But we do so with hope and joy, even in the tears. So I'm glad you all had that experience, even though it was tough in the loss, and we know where she is. So that's a beautiful thing. They're all up there singing and rejoicing now. So one day.
My Nana's dancing. She loved to dance.
Did she really?
Oh, yeah.
Well, my parents were singing.
Yeah, okay,
so, say sing, she's dancing, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's great to hear. Well, David, now we get to some of the more unpleasant part of this, and that is some of the things that are going on. And we want to continue to encourage you as listeners or viewers, however you are getting this, to be aware of what's been going on and continues to go on and why. So, David, update our listeners with this defunding of big abortion.
Yeah, we're going to talk a little bit today, Greg, about some stuff happening at the national level. As our listeners know, the Family Foundation, we're primarily a state-focused Christian policy organization, and I'll just tease, we're about to publish our next upcoming Kentucky Citizen publication. We'll have a more detailed breakdown of the good and the missed opportunities from the legislative session. I'll say
good,
that.
Bad, and ugly, right?
Yeah. Thankfully, there wasn't a whole lot of ugly this session, as we've
really
talked
wasn't.
about, but always some missed opportunities. But as we kind of shift focus here this week at least, and you and I have talked a little bit about this, but there continues to be growing momentum to ensure our tax dollars are used in appropriate ways. Right. And no way has our tax dollars been misused more than the incredible amount of funding that the nation's largest abortion death mill, Planned Parenthood, has received. Right. And so continue to be thankful for the actions that President Trump has taken via executive order to do what he can, but ultimately, the budget, the purse strings are the purview of Congress.
Right.
And so we have been working with, signed on to a letter with 150 pro-life organizations and allies calling on Congress to once and for all defund big abortion, primarily Planned Parenthood.
Yeah.
And just to remind folks some of the stats and why this is so important, in 2023 alone, Planned Parenthood murdered 1 million unborn children. Just think about that for a second. 1 million preborn children. But at the same time, they received nearly $700 million. I'm going to say that
tax
again.
Dollars.
$700 million of our hard-earned tax dollars that they're able to use that allows them to promote these kinds of things. Folks may have seen too. I think you and I briefly talked about this a couple weeks ago. Even the New York Times was forced to run an expose showing the horrifying conditions at Planned Parenthood clinics, botched abortions, all kinds of problematic issues.
Health issues.
Health issues.
Health
And
issues, literally,
here's
yes.
the thing, and we know one of the big lies in this is that abortion is health care, or abortion can never be health care. In spite of the fact that now they use terms like reproductive care or abortion care. You talk about a contradiction of terms.
That's an oxymoron if I've ever heard it.
Intentionally killing a human being is never a caring action. But what we're seeing and the trends that we're seeing is Planned Parenthood has increasingly become more and more political. So there's been a lot of concerns that the tax dollars that they're using, they're not even using those into their facilities, quote unquote. Those tax dollars are allowing them to free up resources as they become even more politically active.
Yeah.
We've seen that here in Kentucky.
Yeah.
They were the biggest promoters to defeat the pro-life amendment that was on the ballot here in Kentucky a couple years ago. So a lot of concerns, but one other one that
Let me interject something,
yeah.
David. So what you're saying is they use our tax dollars and spend them so they can get more tax dollars.
Yes.
That's the political side of it, right?
Right.
And they know they play this game, and there's even research, that data that shows the breakdown of their spending and that this is true,
Right.
that they're doing this,
Yeah.
all the while killing 1 million babies a year just
Yeah.
in 23.
And something else folks may not be aware of. They are the biggest provider of radical transgender treatments as well. New statistics, 450 Planned Parenthood clinics offer transgender services. That's more than their quote-unquote clinics that even offer abortion services. Yeah. So, look, Planned Parenthood's business model seems to be follow the money, follow the depravity.
Yes.
And wherever they can make money, in a way that is harmful, they are seeking to do that. And so, and look, the same concerns, the same medical concerns about how they don't really care for women and they really seek to promote abortion for the profit motive reasons. The same thing is coming out as it relates to transgender services. There's been whistleblower reports talking about how young girls have been going into Planned Parenthood clinics. In some towns, a town of 30,000 people, a report that was 1 to 2 teenage girls arriving to seek testosterone per day in this fairly small town, and that no request to start testosterone was ever denied, in spite of the fact there's not even a medical doctor in this facility. Right. So, and we've been hearing these reports all over. Yeah. They are looking to just push this because, one, Greg, as you know, this fits into their ideology.
Yes, yes.
But two, they're seeking to profit off of taking advantage, in some instances, of young kids.
Well, same thing they did with abortion.
Absolutely.
They target young, and we know this too, David. We know the locations they're in big cities and everything, target minorities.
Yes.
Those who are in I guess maybe the easiest way to say this, in dire straits.
Yeah.
And go, we can help you out of that.
Right.
It's depravity, it's debauchery, it's sexual immorality, it's murder and death, all those things, and they're profiting from all of it.
Yeah.
It's destruction and mutilation. And they profit from all of it.
Oh, they do. And they also promote it, just not in their activities, but in their curriculum, in sex education that they promote in schools.
Exactly right.
There's even an example here in Kentucky recently where some of their just vile sex education materials were being promoted and handed out here in Kentucky.
I say this in my book, David,
Yeah.
And I've said it many times when I've spoken. Literally what they did is they disguised pornography, or porneia, the Greek word that it's rooted in, as education.
Yeah.
So anybody that challenges them say, you don't want good education.
Yeah.
No, we don't want horrific pornography that's destroying our kids, their minds and their bodies, their relationships, their future, their legacies.
Yep.
And that's what they continue to do over and over again.
Yeah. So this is an evil organization. It was founded in evil. It promotes evil. And our tax dollars should have nothing to do with it. Right. And Kentucky and a number of other states have taken a lot of actions over the years to try to protect our tax dollars. But at the federal level, now is the time. Now is the opportunity.
Absolutely.
So what's the call to action? The call to action is we need you to reach out to your congressman.
You have a way to do that,
federal elected officials. And again, we've set up a new alert on our website at kentuckyfamily.org. You can send a message. It will contact your congressman.
Yes.
It'll contact your 2 United States senators, Senator Rand Paul, Senator Mitch McConnell, and send them an encouraging message to once and for all defund Planned Parenthood in the budget.
Right.
And this is an important week. There's been some rally and activity, building momentum, but it's my understanding, I think Congress is in a recess now, so most members will be back at home in their districts. So this is a great time to amplify the grassroots pressure. And so encourage folks to go to our website and send an encouraging message to the congressional delegation here in the Commonwealth.
Yeah, and two things. If you think that's out there somewhere, not in Kentucky, you alluded to one already, that Planned Parenthood, knowing that they're being pushed out of some schools by laws, are now partnering with public libraries to bring their stuff in.
Oh, yeah.
That even opens it up more.
Yeah.
And you've got a story coming right out of Western Kentucky University, right, that some people may have heard about.
Yeah, the continued concern about how our public entities are promoting or partnering sexual depravity in the case of these vile drag shows. And apparently WKU has been doing one for a number of years.
This is the 10th year, I think.
Yeah, it came to light because they just openly and very proudly shared photos. I saw a photo, Greg, of what looked like to be a 4-year-old little girl giving
they even
money to a drag
her,
performer on the stage. Look, this is wrong, and it shouldn't be happening at a public university that is receiving public tax dollars. There has been legislation previously filed to try to shut down or at least say that these types of activities shouldn't happen on publicly funded property. That's another issue that hasn't been addressed by the General Assembly that we need to continue to advocate on. And I'm just going to jump back for one other minute to Greg, just so we clear. A lot of folks may know that, thankfully the abortion clinics have shut down in Kentucky. Planned Parenthood does not perform abortion at its facilities, but Planned Parenthood still has a presence and clinics here, I believe in Lexington and Louisville, and they are providing transgender
this stuff we're talking about.
Right. And now they shouldn't be doing it to minors because that's illegal now in Kentucky. There continues to be concerns about whether that law is being fully followed. But again, I just want to remind Kentuckians that we have, Planned Parenthood here getting taxpayer resources at our expense, promoting harmful things and harmful ideologies.
Well, and here's the thing, David. The caption you alluded to literally told that it was a 4-year-old little girl.
Yeah.
Hey, I got 2 questions. Where did she get the dollar bill, and where are her parents?
Yes.
And if they're pushing it, then they have been deceived or depraved by this same ideology, which is why we must continue to be faithful and stand strong. As I said earlier, people may disagree, but we have to stand on God's truth, which leads us back to this week very quickly. I've done a couple of weeks of devotions called The Clashing of Kingdoms. Palm Sunday is the world trying to make Christ the king their way, which is what we've just been talking about.
Yeah.
This weekend is about Christ saying, no, my kingdom is steadfast, but I welcome you into it. The only way you can get there is through me. So thank you for joining us, but I do have a couple of things. Next Thursday, April 24th, Central Kentucky Right to Life has their banquet at Embassy Suites here in Lexington. And Tim Tebow's mom, is going to be the keynote speaker.
Looking forward to that.
Yeah. Also, I will be sharing at the Women's Mercy to You seminar at Highlands Baptist next Saturday, the 26th. So we'd love to see you there. Thank you for joining us. Thanks for your prayers. Thanks always to the Lord. Make it a great day, and God bless in Christ.